Boris, we invited you. First of all, was an idea of me and Rosalba to have your films in a special screening. We wanted to do something very special, but we didn't know how is things facing to the money problem to have everything technically things that are not working. I mean, was like a dream that was not coming true, but we wanted to have you here and your films, obviously. So your films will be screened tomorrow, if I don't mind, or after tomorrow. Maybe you know the program better.
I'm not sure.
Okay, it's not a problem. In any case, there will be screened, a couple of them on the big screen, and the other, as well as the film by Gianluca Abate, are screening in loop in the small in a room that is close to the edicola that is in this part of the villa, and so everybody can go and watch whatever. I mean, they can stay whatever they what time they want to stay without any problem. So, how you arrive to animation, and your film are always like are really close to in some way to modern art installation or something that could be also shown in fine art gallery or something like this, but are at the same time is really a good way to conceive cinema and animation as well, because I know your film are really successful in festivals, and is always a pleasure to see your film. Every film is something that shocks the audience for something.
Yes, so how I come with animation. First, I start to study fine art. And so in my school, it was really a small school in the southwest of France, and it was a school really about contemporary art. So I started to study contemporary art and maybe installation. I made some photography, also some ceramic things. But after that, I started to focus on drawing. But I was making like drawing 2 meters by 3 meters. So it was really not for making animation. In fact, I start to be interested by animation lately, I think. I was in my third year in fine art, and I start to be maybe not happy by the teaching, and I want to go maybe more far or in a different direction. So I start to be interested by video art and also by animation. And so I decided to study animation in the MK. So it's in a school in Angoulême, a French animation school. And in fact, I discovered really like the cinema story of animation there, and maybe I have like. I'm sorry, you have to translate.
Yeah, but Rosalba, devo tradurre o capisci? A parte che stai. Sì, capisci, no? Cioè, per dire. Devo tradurre? Ah beh, certo, ho tradotto per tutto. No, dunque, lui ha cominciato come gli altri che abbiamo sentito prima con lo studiare arte a scuola, e sicuramente quello che però lui faceva come disegni, come realizzazioni, erano dei quadri, delle cose sempre molto grandi, tipo 3 metri per 2, e quindi non erano certamente adatti all'animazione, però erano più legati all'arte contemporanea e all'installazione. Poi però è andato a studiare ad Angoulême animazione, e da lì insomma è partito un po' tutto il suo viaggio nell'animazione.
And so maybe my first references was like Bill Viola for video art.
I suoi primi riferimenti probabilmente erano Bill Viola
and William Kentridge, and after that I start to have different references in cinema history, mostly Norman McLaren. Maybe.
E poi William Kentridge and Norman McLaren, quando è andato un po' a approfondire gli studi sull'animazione.
But when I was in the cinema school, I feel that in fact, it was really hard for me to tell a story and also to draw a character. Thank you.
Cioè, per lui era difficile disegnare un personaggio o raccontare una storia.
And I was really bad for make a storyboard, for example, and I was really bad for everything for animation. But maybe I had my own way to do things, and with this kind of finally, I feel in that moment I have difficulty to do a real film, and I start to try to make animation for a video for installation.
Si sentiva in difficoltà a fare un vero film perché comunque aveva difficoltà a raccontare una storia, a disegnare un personaggio che facesse delle cose, quindi si è ritrovato più vicino al lavoro di animazione che fosse veicolato a una installazione successiva.
And so I made different films, but one of them was Kyriel. It was one of my student film, and finally with this film I start to. Of course, my school was a cinema school, so they start to send it to festival, and I start to have success in cinema festival, and I really don't expect this.
Uno dei suoi primi film durante il periodo di studenti, che era Kyriel, che vedremo fra l'altro, era appunto molto più vicino all'arte contemporanea, però la scuola, essendo una scuola di cinema, ha cominciato a mandarla ai festival, e i festival hanno accolto molto bene questo film in maniera abbastanza inaspettata per Boris.
And of course, after that, I start to meet people in festival and to understand better what is animation, what we can do with a short film. And I also meet Randiens from Sacre Production, and he proposed me to make a short film. And so I put in my head to do a short film for cinema, and it was Rhizome.
Allora, poi uno dei film successivi, che è stato Rhizome, in realtà è venuto fuori perché lui ha cominciato a confrontarsi all'interno dei festival con altre persone che si occupavano di cinema d'animazione, quindi a ricevere consigli e suggerimenti su come fare i film, e poi il produttore di Sacre Bleu lo ha contattato per fare un film, e da qui è nato appunto Rhizome, che è stato fatto per fare un cortometraggio.
So maybe it was my way to go to animation and to cinema.
E questa è stata la sua strada per arrivare all'animazione e al cinema. You want to tell us a little bit the story about how you create one of your, I think, most successful, in any case, one of my favorite film of your films, that is La Chute.
Okay, so La Chute was made with the idea to do something after Rhizome. Because for me it's not really like a diptych, but there is like a topic like you can push a little bit more far. So I try with La Chute to go in other direction, but with the same kind of technique, but with a different way to film and to create the animation.
Ok, La Chute era un'idea di fare un altro film, però non di fare esattamente un dittico con Rhizome, ma comunque di lavorare in una direzione simile con alcuni cambiamenti, quindi cercare delle nuove strade, ma avere una certa un riferimento per avere una certa continuità col lavoro precedente.
And so in Rhizome there is like a kind of movement about life and about everything in movement, and there is kind of movement with elevation in the end. And in La Chute I would like to do like the dark part, no? Like this kind of falling, every time everything is falling.
E se in Rhizome c'è una sorta di crescita degli elementi che compongono quasi biologicamente il film, La Chute voleva essere il movimento contrario, cioè la caduta verso il basso, e La Chute vuol dire caduta, the falling.
And also in this moment I read Dante with L. And,
in quel periodo ho letto l'Inferno di Dante e si è ispirato un po' anche a questa situazione.
And so I was really afraid to do something about Dante, because I feel it was impossible, and it was the text was maybe too beautiful and also too monumental.
Sì, era un po' per lui era un po' difficile riferirsi a Dante, perché insomma è un testo monumentale, molto difficile da ricreare in un film. I have to say that probably the fact that you were not able to draw a character and to tell a story bring you to make a different vision of the hell of Dante, that is in some way is easier than if you want to make it like a story of Virgilio and Dante going
of course it's impossible,
up and down.
So
I mean, probably it's the only way, the best way to
represent,
this text.
In fact, when I read Dante, and I feel that a lot of movement of people inside the hell, like kind of things with my. You can have this image of my film with this. I don't know how to say this, but like des flux, non? Je sais pas. I don't know how to say this in English. And when I was reading Dante, I was feeling that I had something to do with Dante, but not telling the story, more like creating the vision of the topographic and the dramaturgy about this space, no?
Creare una visione e una drammaturgia dello spazio che lui aveva immaginato nello scrivere, ma non creare una traduzione del testo in immagini.
And of course I start to collect a lot of pictures from art history, because many artists, visual artists and painters and drawers work on this text. So it was for me a good way to have big references and try to do something with animation inside like this kind of art history.
Ha preso riferimento ovviamente a tutto quello che è la parte della pittura storica, dove i pittori hanno rappresentato l'inferno, e quindi prendere anche riferimento, cercare di tradurre in qualche modo in animazione quelle che erano le suggestioni che venivano dalle pitture di tutta la storia dell'arte relative appunto all'inferno. Did you finally use this? I remember that I was suggesting you this fresco in Bologna San Petronio by Antonello da Modena. I think it's called Hell.
In fact, maybe in that moment you told me this, maybe I go to saw the pictures, but I don't think I didn't use.
Okay.
I remember. Yes, now I remember. I saw the pictures. No, I didn't use this. But there is this kind of like character eating things, right?
Yeah, this was.
So, but I use more the Goya.
Okay. Okay. What are you preparing for us now? For us in the world of animation? Some new film, some installation, some.
Now I am working different projects. It's like a little bit complicated because it's like my work is like I feel like now a different way to work, like the short films, the installation, the exhibitions. So now I'm working about an exhibition from the end of this year, but in Aix-en-Provence. And I will also do an installation about a project I made with a French choreographer, Angelin Préjocage, about the Swan Lake. So I have a project about the Swan Lake, but a really strange one.
Wow.
And also I am working actually on a VR project. I'm really beginning, like making the first script or concept and also the first drawings. It's about Japanese art iconography.
Ok. Allora, c'ha 3 progetti su cui sta lavorando. Uno è una nuova esposizione che sarà a Aix-en-Provence alla fine di quest'anno, un altro è una collaborazione con una coreografia sul lago dei Cigni, ma una cosa molto strana e particolare, e la terza cosa è la sua prima esperienza in virtual reality sulla grafica artistica, art graphic in Giappone, giusto? Fantastico. Grazie
Merci.
Boris, non scordarti lo spritz.